will be trying out some watercolor markers. I've never used these before. I've never used any brand of these before. I've seen other people use them. I'm a little skeptical as I'm going into this because I have a feeling it's going to stick to the paper and it's not going to come up in the water. And then I'm just going to have streaky lines all over whatever I decide to do with it. So going into this, I was not optimistic. And you would be able to see this better if I would have checked the focus sooner on my camera. I'm definitely still learning. I learned that my camera, whenever it turns off, the focus resets. So see, look, there you go, I fixed it. I'm also checking it more often since I realized that it does that. So every time I turn it off, I have to reset the focus settings. But anyways, back to the watercolor. So it actually looks like they're spreading really, really well. So at this point, during the swatches, I was getting kind of excited. I was like, all right, the color's moving pretty well off the paper. It's not sticking too much. At least with the colors I decided to swatch. This was a very large pack, so I did not swatch all of them. But yeah, they're doing really well. And with those two, you know, just trying some of the things that I would typically do with watercolor. I wanted to see how easily they would blend. So I have a dark blue, a medium blue, and a super light blue. And they actually did blend pretty well. They take a little bit of working with, and some of them take a little bit more water than others in order to pick back off the paper. Or I also did a test where I let it dry fully before I put water on it, and in that case it also takes a lot more water. And there's a couple colors where the lines will stay there until the water soaks into the paper. So like you put the water in, you're moving the brush over it, trying to get that ink up off the paper, and it's not moving. But then as the water starts to sit there longer and longer, all of a sudden it starts working like it's supposed to. Like as it's drying, you start to see that those lines go away. So during this process, while I'm testing it right now with the idea that I had, I was a little concerned. I was like, oh no, these lines are not going to come off the paper. But then it dries, and it turns out they actually do. Like the pigment does soak into the water. Sometimes it just takes a while to get there. So that was something just to note while doing this. Yeah, so in this sketch, I'm going to be doing kind of an underwater scene, like you're looking up at the top of the water, and there's a couple of fishies swimming about. I think this turned out really cool. Personally, the tester not so much, but the one that's going to be inside the tape, I actually end up really liking how it turns out, even though the process had me a little worried with some of the colors not dissolving right away in the water. You can kind of see it a little bit with that dark blue in some spots. I kind of had to go back and forth with it a little bit. Like put some water on it and then go back and touch it up later. So these do take a little bit of time to kind of figure out what the workflow is with them, how much time you have to put into it to get each color to go, because some of the colors were fine. Some of the colors, like the orange, for example. The orange I felt like picked up off the paper really well, but some of the darker colors didn't pick up right away, but would pick up later. So yeah, so this is my little underwater scene I'm testing, and started on the full one. Yeah, this is my first video back up in a while. I think it's been about a week. Took a little bit of time off, had some family in town, and had some life stuff, but you know, I don't really have a schedule on here anyways, so just kind of putting them up as I feel like dabbling with new things and sharing my experiences. So on this part I actually ended up steering a little ways away from what the tester was, which I actually ended up liking way better. I feel like the tester, it's a tester. Can't really judge a tester too hard. Um, but yeah, I think this ends up looking really nice. I like it a lot. Um, I think that I would have liked to, next time I play around with these, maybe during a dabble with me, I'll do some with these, but I would like to test out more of the colors and them blending together with different colors, not just different shades of blue. I would really like to see how a whole image would turn out, because in this test I just did a small thumbnail, just to test out how well they pick up off the paper, because that was my main concern. The colors are beautiful, they're super vibrant. Um, it's just sometimes they don't pick up off the paper. Those lines that are on there right now, however, I put there, just to clarify. Those lines, I wasn't quite happy with it, so I added some like ripple lines, like it was the top of the water. And now I'm adding in my little fishies that are swimming. I don't know why I put water on them, just because I used a water pen, I guess, but I could have done without putting water on them. And there's the final results. Hope you guys enjoyed.